In today's Top 10s video, we're going to be looking at the top 10 idiotic things that started a war. Number 10. The Great Guano War. The War of the Pacific, or the Great Guano War, was fought between Peru, Bolivia, and Chile from 1879 to 1883. Guano is Spanish for bird droppings, so the Great Guano War roughly translates into the Great War for bird poo. Thanks to its high levels of phosphorus and nitrogen, guano is an effective ingredient in the manufacturing of fertilizers and gunpowder. Needless to say, guano was worth its weight in gold. The main deposit of guano was on the coastal side of the Atacama Desert. The 350-mile nitrate-enriched desert coastline was mostly under the control of Peru and Bolivia. Bolivia lacked the resources and the manpower to exploit this deposit, so they contracted it out to Chilean companies. Over the years, there were many disputes as Bolivia tried to press for larger revenue. This led to a secret agreement between Peru and Bolivia. The Peruvian government had planned to secure the control of the output by state purchase and operation of nitrate properties. Such alliance required Bolivia freeing its hands of Chilean miners, so in 1879, Bolivia increased the taxes on minerals. Chile, trying to protect the interest of its mining companies, took control of the mining region, prompting Peru and Bolivia to declare war. Who won? Chile won the war thanks to its superior navy. The victory resulted in Chile taking control of the entire desert coastline in dispute. The loss left a deep scar in the Bolivian and Peruvian society. Even to this day, it remains an emotional issue, which was evident during Bolivia's natural gas riot of 2004. Casualties from this war were over 13,000 people. Number 9. The War of Dahis and Ghabra, and I'm not really sure if I'm pronouncing those correctly. The War of Dahis and Ghabra, which lasted for over 40 years, was fought between two Arabian tribes over a disputed horse race, in which the former accused the latter of cheating. It began when the leader of the Abs challenged his counterpart, a Dahubian, to a race. Abs had a horse called Dahis, a breed famous for its speed, which they pitched against the Dahubian's horse, Ghabra. The race was to 100 bow shots in length, and the wager of 100 camels was agreed. During the race, Ghabra took the lead, but Dahis overtook and was about to win the race when Dubonites ambushed the leading horse and drove him off course. Hearing about the foul play, Abs proclaimed victory, but the latter refused to pay. Resenting the treachery, the Abs slew the brother of the Dubians' leader. The Dubians did the same to the Abs' leader's brother. The horsemen declared the war, which lasted for 40 years. Who won? Although Dubians held their own, neither could take a decisive advantage, and the war dragged on for years. Number of casualties from this conflict is unknown. Number 8. The Pastry War. France went to war with Mexico in the year 1838. The war began with the naval blockade of some Mexican port and capture of a fortress in Veracruz. It ended in 1839, with the British brokering the peace. The Pastry War, as it's charmingly called, started when a French pastry cook claimed that during a civil disturbance in 1828, his bakery was vandalized by some Mexican army officials. The chef demanded payment for the losses from the Mexican authority, but got none. Finally, 10 years later, the chef pleaded to King Louis Philippe of France to come to his citizens' aid. Mexico had previously defaulted millions of dollars in loans from France. Louis, taking this as the last straw, ordered Mexico to pay 600,000 pesos towards damages caused to its citizens. The amount was extremely high, as an average Mexican worker's daily wages was 1 peso. Mexico refused to pay, giving France the excuse to deploy its navy. Who won? The skirmish lasted a year before the British intervened and made Mexico pay 600,000 pesos. Casualties? Over 300. Number 7. The French invasion of Algeria. Algeria was under French rule from 1830 to 1960. Prior to that, it was part of the Ottoman Regency. The relations between France and the Regency during that time were on the edge. Dey Hussein, Ottoman provincial ruler to Algiers, demanded an answer over the outstanding debt from the French consul. Unsatisfied with the answer, the irritated ruler allegedly hit the consul with his handheld fan. This incident was taken quite seriously by Charles X of France, who took this as an opportunity to increase his popularity among his disgruntled population. Charles X ordered a blockade of Algerian ports. The blockade lasted for 3 years, until a ship carrying a French ambassador to Dey for a proposed negotiation was bombarded. France took this as a declaration of war and ordered a full-scale invasion. Who won? Although there was resistance over the years, the French took full control of Algeria by 1834, and the number of casualties for this conflict is unknown. Number 6. 301-Year War for shaving a beard. The bearded King Louis VII of France married Eleanor, Duchess of Aquitaine, in 1137 and received 2 massive provinces in France as dowry. Later on, he went for the Crusades, and upon his return, he presented himself to his queen clean-shaven. Eleanor didn't like his ugly clean-shaven look and demanded that Louis grow his whiskers back. Louis furiously refused, and the bitter resentment that followed resulted in divorce. Eleanor went to England, where she married King Henry II. After her marriage, she demanded the return of her dowry lands back. Again, Louis refused, which resulted in King Henry declaring war on France that lasted for 300 years. Who won? The war lasted from 301 years, from 1152 to 1453. France won the long and arduous war, but at very high economical and collateral losses. Number of casualties? Unknown. Number 5. Basoos War. Basoos War is another Arab tribal war which lasted for over 40 years, from 494 to 534. Named after an old woman, the war was fought between the Taghlib and Baka tribes. It started when a she-camel belonging to the neighbor of Basoos wandered and mingled with the flock belonging to Kulab, chief of the Taghlib tribe. Unable to recognize the camel, Kulab killed it. While Basoos' nephew, who was the leader of the Baka tribe, learned of this development, he sought vengeance and killed Kulab. This resulted in another tribal war. Who won? There wasn't any clear winner as the war dragged on for ages until it was finally forgotten about. The number of casualties is unknown. Number 4. The Cod Wars. The Cod War is a jocular term given to the confrontation between Iceland and Britain over the issue of fishing rights. It started in 1958, when Iceland took it upon itself to increase its fishing boundaries from 4 miles to 12 miles, and then in 1972 when it further increased its boundaries to 50 miles. Iceland wanted exclusive fishing rights, since that was its only source of income. Both the countries came to an agreement where Iceland would only allow certain fishing zones for British trawlers to fish in, and also imposed a limit on the amounts that could be caught by the British trawlers. The agreement was valid for 2 years, and expired in November of 1975, soon after which the Third Cod War started. Iceland further increased its fishing boundaries from 50 to 200 miles, and overall banned British trawlers in its water. The British deployed over 20 frigates to protect the interests of its fishermen. Who won? You could say Iceland. Britain and the other fishing countries agreed to the Icelandic demands after NATO and the US intervened. Iceland had previously threatened NATO of shutting down their base in Keflavik, a strategically important base to NATO during the Cold War, if their demands weren't met. Casualties? None. Number 3. Honey War. The Honey War was an 1830s territorial dispute between Iowa and Missouri. The 9.5-mile-long strip running across the border was the source of the dispute caused by the unclear wording in the Missouri constitutional boundaries. The governors of both states ordered their respective militia to patrol their side of the border, after a Missourian sheriff was incarcerated trying to collect taxes in the disputed zone. There was another incident where 3 trees containing valuable honey were cut down, hence the name the Honey War. Who won? The situation was on edge until the Supreme Court intervened and declared the issue in Iowa's favor. Casualties? None. Number 2. The War of the Golden Stool. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the British bullied their way into Africa. Thanks to the obvious superiority of their guns over spears and bows, the British quickly quelled any form of resistance. One of them was from a kingdom named Ashanti, modern-day Ghana. After initial skirmishes, British forces finally exiled the Ashanti king, Prempeh I. Furthermore, the governor, Sir Frederick Mitchell Hodson, in 1900, demanded to sit on a golden stool during an assembly. This insult didn't go down well with the people of Ashanti, as the golden stool is the throne to the Ashanti king and also a sacred symbol to its people. In order to protect its heritage, Yah Asantewaa rallied the troops and declared war on the British. Who won? Although the British finally conquered the Ashantis, it was the latter who won the war, as they fought for the Golden Stool, then succeeded. The British never recovered the stool. Casualties? Over 3,000 people. Number 1. The Pemmican War. The Pemmican War was a serious armed confrontation between 2 British fur-trading companies operating in Canada, Hudson's Bay Company and the North West Company. The problem started in 1811 when the Earl of Selkirk, Thomas Douglas, started the colonization project known as Red River Colony on 120,000 square miles of land provided by the HBC. Thomas wanted to monopolize the fur trading business to HBC, hence he banned all the Metis, Europeans who got married to the natives, from trading with NWC. And in 1814, the governor of the Red River Colony issued a proclamation intended to limit the number of buffaloes killed by the Metis. This enraged the Metis, who disregarded the proclamation and started converting the buffalo's meat to pemmican. The governor issued a ban on pemmican exports and seized 400 bags of pemmican belonging to NWC. He ordered the company to end its trading post in the Red River. NWC, along with the Metis, declared war on the HBC and Red River, looting, pillaging, and burning down forts belonging to the HBC. The commercial struggle of both companies turned into guerrilla warfare when HBC retaliated with militia of its own. Who won? None. The Crown, disgraced by the two companies' actions, forced both the companies to merge under one name. Casualties? 21 people, including the governor, who was killed in the Battle of Sevenoaks.
So I really hope you enjoyed that video, and I'd love to know what you think of it, so please leave a comment below. I'm also going to link over to another video that you might enjoy, so just click on that thumbnail on the screen now, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we put out a new video 7 days a week, and you can also visit us online. Just go to TopTenz.net. Thanks for watching.